Good day, everyone. How's everyone doing? Let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know how you're doing today. Welcome back in the Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rod with Power Group. Today's Tuesday, July 12th. Going to get started with today's live stream momentarily. Got an exciting one for you today. Not as if we all didn't see it coming or not like we doubted it, but nice to see and very reassuring to see that the Tilray Brands deal has officially complete. It's officially complete at this point. So it's not so much the deal that I was concerned about. Let me know in the comments below if you were concerned, if you ever thought that the deal was going to fall through. What I was concerned about was the transaction deals getting changed again, right, and amended for a second time, right? So the fact that the deal is done is great to see, and I see we have a lot of chatter and a lot of people joining us on the stream so far. Welcome on the Pursuit of Wealth, and welcome to the live stream. Again, let us know where you're tuning in from, and we're going to get started here in about 30 seconds. All right, tons of people joining the live stream. Welcome, everybody. It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. As I mentioned, it's Tuesday, July 12th. Hope you're well today. And in this video, going to be discussing the huge news with Tilray and HEXO. The deal is officially complete. So if anybody had any doubt, now you are essentially, you're put to rest, your nerves are put to rest, and we can just breathe a sigh of relief because, as we know, HEXO needs this deal to go through. They needed this deal to go through, and there was a lot riding on it, and a lot of people were speculating that we could potentially see the transaction details amended again. So this is great that the deal is done. Before we get into today's live stream, I actually haven't even read the article yet. I was doing a product review of these new HEXO flavor vapes, and one was key lime, one was pineapple, island pineapple, and I was doing a product review video as soon as this news came out, so I was a little late to the party. But thanks to all the Power Group members for letting me know, and I wanted to come on and do a live stream, and we'll just see we'll get a pulse for what everybody's thinking. But before we get into it, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe and tick the bell. You'll be notified on any future videos. Let's dive into the computer here, and we'll take a look at the article. Like I said, I just briefly skimmed it, but we'll run through it here together. And like I said, I know there's a lot of chatter going on. I won't neglect the chat here for too long. I'll make my way into the chat. We'll try to keep this as short as possible here today, short and sweet, but I did bring up the article here from HEXO, the article from Tilray as well, just to see if there's any differences between the two. But I just posted this video of HEXO flavor vape. So like I said, Island Pineapple product review and Key Lime Sunrise. They didn't have the Wild Strawberry, but I encourage you to check these out. They're fantastic. I really like the Island Pineapple, but it's been a while since I hit the Key Lime, so well, cheers to the deal going through. All right, let's dive into this article. HEXO completes transaction with Tilray Brands, creating a strategic alliance between the two Canadian MJ leaders. All right, this news constitutes designated news release for purposes of the company's prospectus. Let's just check HEXO's website as well and see our filing. Yeah, so they did come out with the news release, both French and English. All right. Completed debt financing arrangement will act as a reset for HEXO, driving profitable growth and accelerating the company's transformation into a cash flow positive business. HEXO and Tilray Brands will target a combined cost savings of up to $80 million within 24 months to be realized through shared support services. So again, this isn't just like regular dilution. This isn't just like a regular debt deal. It's over 24 months, it's going to save both companies US $80 million, right? So it's not just like they're getting a loan from the bank and paying them back and not getting any kind of partnership with that bank, or not adding any value to their business, right? Whereas they're going to create all of these cost savings up to $80 million through this commercial alliance and production efficiency. HEXO, a leading producer of high-quality MJ products, is pleased to announce the company has closed its previously announced transaction with Tilray Brands. The transaction with Tilray Brands solidifies the strategic partnership between HEXO and Tilray Brands and provides HEXO with a recapitalized balance sheet and financial flexibility necessary to accelerate its transformation into a cash flow positive business within the next 4 quarters. So they say it again, in the next 4 quarters. But again, they've switched CFOs 3 times now in a little over a year or 2 years. So you can't really, that's what one CFO was saying, and then they got fired, and then that's what another one said, and then they got fired. But it is kind of funny how they keep saying it in the next 4 quarters. But if you think about it, they now have access to 102 million in unrestricted cash, and then 180 million backstop through KO's capital, so Adam Arviv. So that means $282 million they have access to, and it's only $20 million a year in interest to pay off this debt. Do the math. They should be good for multiple years. And if they're forecasting positive, cash flow positive business within the next 4 quarters, if they're good for multiple years with this deal being done, and now it's official, right? Now we know. There's no, we hope the deal goes through, or we hope it doesn't get amended again. Now we know that HEXO is going to be afloat for multiple years. And again, they're expecting the next 4 quarters. I believe it, because we knew that before the deal with Tilray, we had Redecan, Cannabis, 48 North, right? They spent over $1 billion. What was it, like $1.2 billion acquiring all 3 of those companies. $925 million was Redecan, $400 million of that was cash. The rest, the $525 million was in stock. So you have to, a lot of people just thought that it was all going to be fine as soon as we, made that announcement of the merger and acquisition. It takes time, right? And that's one thing that I was not that well versed in, and I'm still learning, right? I've been in the market for well over a decade now. I'm going on, I think, 13 years and close to 15 years of investing. And I've been heavily focused on the MJ space since probably late 2017, early 2018. And I've been, studying this hours and hours and hours, day after day after day. So hundreds of thousands of hours likely into the MJ space now. And I'm still learning, right? Even this M&A, I haven't seen this amount of mergers and acquisitions in any industry, let alone, I'm seeing it now in the crypto space because we need consolidation there as well. But now I'm more well equipped, right? I can understand that next time something happens like this, I'll be able to, reflect back on this and I'll learn from it, right? Most people just have a bad experience and they quit. What are you going to learn for next time? And make sure you learn, because if you don't learn, you're just going to keep making the same mistakes, because the stock market is designed to make you feel emotion, and then you just keep repeating the same mistake. And what is that called? It's called insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, right? So I'm grateful and thankful that I went through this. And yeah, I should have seen it coming a little bit more as well, that you can't spend $1.2 billion on acquiring 3 companies in less than a year and a half, that all, back to back to back. Look at all the impairments that happened, right? And then obviously the market conditions were terrible in MJ for the last 17 months. Like, just look at any MJ chart, right? HEXO down over 98% from February 21 highs, and Tilray down over 95%. So again, I think we can all learn from this. But the 4 quarters, I think, is very believable now, because, like I said, we're getting all those impairments out of the way. We're getting, we did all these cost savings with Tilray, that $80 million. They also have a ton of employees that they laid off. They closed a bunch of facilities as a result of those mergers and acquisitions. They no longer needed some of those facilities, and including which Cannabis as well. So that's going to be a ton of other costs. So just watch for SG&A in this next upcoming quarter and the quarter after that. I think we're going to see a huge increase in that. And also COGS, I think, is going to be a key focus going forward. But like I said, I really do believe that in the next 4 quarters, because they said 4 or 5 quarters, I think, the last time, and then they pushed it back again. So now they're saying 4 quarters. This would mean around this time next year. I think that's very believable, and I do think that we're going to be entering a multi-year bull market in the MJ space, and I'm excited. This increases the odds that we could see the CPG partner as well, and we know that I just did a video on the delisting or the reverse split to avoid delisting, or whether or not they were going to reverse split, or if they were just going to regain getting an extension or just regain that $1 organically, right? So this increases the odds, because I think we could see the CPG partner now soon. Now that this Tilray deal is done, I think that we could see the CPG partner news any day, realistically, because we know that the first edible was expected, they hoped to have it to the SQDC in Quebec before the end of summer. So that tells me that production is done, because they'd have to go through all these quality assurance tests and things like that, quality control, and then they'd have to go through packaging and then distribution and get everything ready, and then logistics and then shipping and get it out to them, right? And have enough on hand to get it out to all stores, right? Eventually. So I think that we're probably going to see CPG partner any day. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me. This partnership with Tilray Brands is game changer for HEXO, said Charlie Bowman. Man, I can't wait to hear from this guy. I know people were frustrated that they didn't even announce on the last earnings that they weren't having an earnings call. I too was frustrated by that. I was really looking forward to hearing Charlie and Julius, the new CFO. But they weren't with HEXO for very long, so I guess we'll cut them some slack. But they better be on there for a call next time. I'm calling you out, Charlie. It provides us with the opportunity to reset the organization onto a path of profitable, sustainable growth and allows us to leverage our leading market share into becoming, and that's the thing too, guys, like HEXO's number one, right? I think we need to cut them some slack. I think they issued a poison pill. Yeah, they had some atrocious management and things like that, but they're number one. Like HEXO is number one, and I think they're going to continue to be number one for a very, very long time, and top three globally. Into becoming the preferred MJ experience for consumers. I would agree with that. Best MJ company by far. Maybe not financials right now, but they're laying the foundation for world domination. And now they have the Tilray deal done. This is a good day. Let's go with the Island Pineapple. We're now able to proactively plan for the second half of 2022 and beyond, focusing on meeting evolving consumer demand and innovative product development. What might that be? Might it be CPG partner? Might it be multiple CPG partners? That's something that we could see, right? We know they're getting into topicals soon too, so I think we could see some CPG partner announced with regards to cosmetics. Refinancing our balance sheet and funding future growth has been our top priority, said Julius Ivansits. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I still don't know. Ivansits. Nailed it. I must have nailed it that time, I think. That is a difficult name to pronounce. Said the new CFO of HEXO Corp. Finalizing this agreement accomplishes both objectives, placing HEXO on solid financial footing and increasing shareholder value. And if they would do a investor conference call, they would tell us what his name is, and we'd be able to actually hear it. I'll have to run it through one of those the word voiced or text to voice. All right, moving on. We'll go through this a little quicker here. This is a unique opportunity between the alliance at Irwin Simon, CEO of Tilray. The partnership will create substantial synergies, commercial benefits, as well as allowing us to capitalize on our respective strengths in product innovation, accelerating growth across global markets. Pursuant to the transaction, so it just goes through the transaction agreement dated June 14th. Tilray and HEXO have entered into a commercial agreement providing two companies with cost synergies and production efficiencies. 80 million, strategic, deleveraging. Tilray Brands purchased the amended note at a lower price than the one at which HTI has been redeeming the amended note over the past 13 months. Operational flexibility. The amended note provides HEXO with immediate operational flexibility by modifying the terms of the more favorable to HEXO. That includes eliminating the monthly redemption feature that was killing the dilution, right? Killing the share count. Amending the financial covenants and extending the maturity date by additional 3 years. That's something people are forgetting as well. That was due in 2023. Big problem. Now it's due 2026. These amendments limit shareholder dilution moving forward and remove the going concern. That's exactly what I just mentioned. Going concern risk, and this is something that was identified. The going concern, right, and it had everybody freaking out, right, because the auditor had brought it up. And now, again, I think it was a poison pill. I really do. We'll probably never know, but I really do think it was. I mean, they dropped to almost 100 million market cap, right? And they still somehow didn't get acquired. Pretty. I definitely wouldn't have expected that if you would have told me that a couple years ago. All right, let's see here. The terms of the transaction yeah, we already told us that. 80 million in savings. We get it. The two companies have identified and will continue to work together to evaluate additional cost-saving synergies as well as other production efficiencies, including with respect to cultivation, processing, services, and certain MJ 2.0 products, including pre-rolls, beverages, edibles, and shared services and procurement. This is nothing they didn't already tell us. So we'll run through this. So transaction summary. Tilray Brands acquired 100% of the remaining outstanding principal balance of $173.7 million amended note. The purchase price paid by Tilray Brands for HDI, so High Trail Investments, for the amended note was $155 million US, reflecting a 10.8% discount on the outstanding principal amount. As consideration for the amended note, HEXO issued 56,100,000 common shares and 11,674,000 rights exercisable for common shares to HTI, representing 12% of the outstanding principal of the amended note at the closing. Divided by CAD 40, which is the new conversion price. Pursuant to the transaction agreement, Tilray Brands has nominated Denise Faltichek and Roger Saville to HEXO's board of directors. Welcome to the team. Tilray Brands is also entitled to an observer of HEXO's board of directors. Sweet. Cool. Conversion price of the HEXO note of 40 cents Canadian per share implies that as of July 11th, Tilray Brands would have the right to convert approximately 48% of the outstanding common stock of HEXO on a non-diluted basis. So now it's down from 50%, right? Everybody's saying that they have controlling interest already, but now it's down to 48%. HEXO did not receive any proceeds as a result of Tilray Brands' purchase of the amended note from HTI. Commercial agreements. HEXO and Tilray, man, this is long. Okay, we're almost at the end. HEXO and Tilray Brands have finalized and entered into various commercial agreements and mutual agreement terms designed to strengthen the entity's independent position. Designed to strengthen each entity's independent position. So you got to keep they keep saying this, right? Why does everybody, like, again, when 90% of retail is thinking, oh, the Tilray's going to take over HEXO, I start to think the opposite. I'm very much a contrarian, because if they have 90% of retail thinking a certain way, it's probably because they want you to think that way, because 90% of the time retail's wrong. So that's why, and I'm not saying that to belittle anybody else or say that anybody else is, it's very common to think that they're going to merge, but you got to, like I said, I do thousands and thousands of hours of research and due diligence, and I've seen now 4 or 5 times that they keep saying independent and HEXO remain a standalone company. And then I mentioned in the private community, I quoted, and I think it was Cedric actually that sent it out originally, but this came directly from the horse's mouth. It's important both companies are still separate, independent public companies. That's going to be important to make sure that we draw the line there, said Irwin Simon, chairman and CEO of Tilray. So again, words mean things, and why do they keep saying that, right? And they even said in that interview with BNN that this reminds me of the time when Microsoft saved Apple from bankruptcy in 1997. So are you implying that both companies are going to remain independent and that HEXO could potentially end up being more valuable than Tilray? I think so, because I truly do believe that. I think that HEXO is going to potentially end up one-upping them, and I maybe even two-upping them. Like I said, Tilray even said they've been chasing HEXO for months and tried to buy them for $2 to $3 a share. And people are like, well, that's actually not official. I'm like, well, yeah, it is, because Irwin Simon, Tilray said that to BNN. They told him that straight from the horse's mouth. So yeah, it is provable. So co-manufacturing, the parties have agreed to certain production. Okay, well, if you guys want to read this, actually, no, this part's new. The co-manufacturing agreement initially contemplates the manufacturing of V-cone pre-rolls in bulk format by Tilray Brands for HEXO. Okay, so all the V-cones, so all the ones like that, are going to be done by Tilray Brands for HEXO, using the equipment supplied by HEXO, and the manufacturing of gummies and straight-edge pre-rolls will be by HEXO for Tilray. That makes so much sense, right? Because of no wonder Tilray wanted Redecan, because they wanted this straight-edge pre-roll technology. Like SSL said, Sebastian St. Louis said that pre-roll technology is worth over $1 billion itself. And again, guys, words mean things. And just like it says here, each entity's independent position, right? It's just like they're spelling it out for you if you're just willing to open your brain and your eyes for a little bit and have an open mind. The words are there, right? International sales. So this is a question a lot of people have been asking me about. Hopefully this clears it up. The parties have agreed to leverage Tilray Brands' existing facility in Portugal. Okay, so now what does that tell you right there? HEXO no longer needs Cannabis in Malta, because that was their into the EU market. So now the parties have agreed to leverage Tilray Brands' existing facility in Portugal. Also, what is that going to create? A lot of cost savings for HEXO, right? And closing those facilities. And will negotiate a mutually agreeable international supply agreement providing the transfer by HEXO to Tilray Brands of HEXO's customers in international markets. Let me read that again. And will negotiate a mutually agreeable international supply agreement providing for the transfer by HEXO to Tilray Brands of... No wonder people get bored and tired of reading this stuff. Man, they make it complicated. Transfer by HEXO to Tilray Brands of HEXO's customers to the international markets to the extent legally permitted, and in certain circumstances, HEXO will source and purchase all of its MJ products for international markets, excluding Canada and the United States, exclusively from Tilray brands. Yeah, so essentially they're fair game in their home turf and in the U.S., and then anything beyond that and outside of those two countries are going to be sourced directly from Tilray. And that'll cut cost on HEXO's savings as well, right? We know HEXO's a MJ manufacturing products company, right? And we know that Tilray has a distribution model. They make more money off of alcohol actually than they do off of their alcohol business off Sweetwater Brewing Co. Than they do off selling MJ, right? All HEXO does is sell MJ. So it's they're two very, very different companies. And I think it's, like Irwin said, it's very important that they remain independent public companies. Procurement and cost savings. The parties have executed a procurement and cost savings agreement to identify and take advantage of cost savings in their respective businesses. Under the agreement, the parties will share certain services to achieve efficiencies and savings, including administrative services, third-party commercial services, procurement, internal distribution services. Okay, they never said anything new here. Yeah, as part of these initiatives, the parties have agreed to share in the resulting cost savings realized from the Belleville facility, while HEXO paying Tilray brands a one-time US $10 million fee for such shared savings. And again, closing the Belleville facility because they no longer need it. Truss Beverages is still there. The joint venture with Molson Coors, they're still there. They're going to have their own license operationalized in 2023. So right now it's still going through HEXO's financials, but at some point in 2023, it's going to go on Molson Coors' financials because they're going to have their own license, and then they have a majority stake in that joint venture. So then it'll get reported and then on Molson Coors' financials versus HEXO's right now, because HEXO is the license, so they have to report it on their financials. So once that switches over to, once they switch the duty over to Molson Coors, then they report it, and then HEXO reports on an equity basis. And then, like I said, they save a ton of money. They moved all that facility to Redican facility in Ontario and Masson. With HEXO paying Tilray brands, one-time $10 million advisory services and monthly fees. So under the advisory services agreement, Tilray brands will provide HEXO with certain advisory services on an as-needed basis, so ad hoc, in the areas of investor relations, which is funny because they just fired their investor relations team. And yeah, there we go. That fills that void. Internal audit, company marketing, and market positioning. HEXO has agreed to pay Tilray brands a monthly fee of $1.5 million for these advisory services. So again, if they have access to $282 million, they're paying $20 million a year in interest for the debt with Tilray, and $1.5 million for these advisory services, right? And they're having all these cost savings. That's a lot of money, right? Like they should be good for multiple years. And if they're forecasting profitability in the next 4 quarters, even if it's not 4 quarters, even if it's 6 quarters or 8 quarters, like they should have enough money to get by well past that. All right. So the performance of the company's previous, we'll continue on. So it just says Canaccord Genuity Corp and Lazard acted as a financial advisor. And again, they told us all of this stuff before, like multiple months in advance, that HEXO was working with BMO and Lazard trying to find better. See how words mean things? Like that just comes back in my brain, right? Because they told us BMO and Lazard, and then everybody was saying bankruptcy. Again, when 90% of retail investors think something, I automatically, it's not that I think the contrarian view. It's just that if 90% or more of people, retail investors, are saying HEXO is going bankrupt, my immediate default notion is to be like, okay, well that's wrong because retail's wrong 90% of the time, right? So if 90% of retail are thinking something, I'm automatically interested in the contrarian view, right? And then when they said they were working with Lazard and BMO, and then here you go, Lazard served as the financial advisor for HEXO, and that's how they got this. That's how they avoided bankruptcy. Maybe this was the plan all along. You have to wonder if it's just like a puppet master pulling the strings or what. But now they got KO's capital position. Now you got Tilray. So it's essentially Team Tilray, Afria, Redican, HEXO, Cannabis, 48 North. Need I say more? This is going to be a global powerhouse. Number 1, number 2 LP working together. All right, not going to go through this, but they just say substantial savings. I was more concerned about the state of HEXO's business, so that's why I spent a little bit more time for the Tilray fans out there. It's not that I'm hating on Tilray or giving any more love to one. It's just, like I said, HEXO obviously was in dire need, and Tilray a little less worried about their financial position. But we'll skim through this. A lot of it's just redundant, right? Just want to see if there's anything that they said differently, or maybe they, again, words mean things. So I'll go through this probably a little bit more. What's this say here? Tilray brands and bring together industry-leading expertise in the global MJ industry, including MJ cultivation, product innovation, brand building, and distribution. Leveraging both companies' commitment to innovation and operational efficiencies, both companies will provide their respective expertise and know-how to strengthen the market positioning and capitalize on the opportunities for growth through the broadened product offering and accelerated CPG innovation. There you go. Excellent. Excellent. Woo! Hit the like if you're excited. Waiting a long damn time for this. I think it's coming soon. These efforts will also provide benefits to the U.S. market upon federal legalization. Do you understand what's happening now, folks? They're creating the biggest drop. They're creating, because they know MJ investors are diehard fans and they won't sell, right? But you know how you get them to sell? 17, 18 months of absolute pain and 98% drawdowns. That'll make people sell, right? That'll make a lot of people say a lot of pretty nasty words too, right? And then they instantly hate MJ. It's the worst sector in the planet. Every company's garbage. MSOs are the only good ones, blah, blah, blah. But they're not planning. Like, you got to think, MSOs are only focusing on their own backyard, and they're not even in all 50 states right now. Whereas Tilray's focusing on Portugal and Germany and international markets and Israel, and they've been shipping products to Israel. They've been all over Canada. They're number 2 in terms of market share Canada-wide, I believe. We'll have to see some updated figures. HEXO being number 1 in terms of rec market share. And then they have the Sweetwater Brewing Co., which they can easily leverage those brands. And same with HEXO. They have trust with Molson Coors in the U.S., already selling in 24 different states through hemp CBD. Like, people need to wake the frick up here, because, like, I just wish I could, if there was one thing I could hit home with people, is to just open your mind, open your eyes, and to just think bigger picture, right? Just because the financials suck now, you're not comparing apples to apples. You're comparing apples to oranges. Of course, the MSOs are going to have better numbers because they're only focusing on regulated markets right now, or a few select states, or, you know, in the case of Trulieve, mostly just Florida. But then they acquired, Harvest Health, I think, and now they're focusing more on like Arizona and things like that, where the license, they're not giving any more license. So what did they do? They said, well, we can't get a license for Arizona anymore because they're not giving any out, so we'll just buy a company, right? And yeah, they're going to have to go through all this as well, and that's going to take CapEx, so capital expenditures. Just look at the foundation these companies have. And now HEXO and Tilray working number 1 together, team Tilray, Afria, HEXO, Redecan, Cannabis, 48 North. Good luck, everybody else. And we know Tilray's going to be taking a potential controlling interest in MedMen, which is a multi-state operator and retailer in the U.S. So again, they've got the whole footprint laid out. Do they have problems? Yes, right? But wow. This thing's going to be huge. So they just go on to say, Tilray brands issuance to HDI a $50 million convertible unsecured note and approximately 33.3 million shares in Class 2 common share stock of Tilray brands. The Tilray convertible note bears interest at rate of 4% per annum, calculated and paid on a quarterly basis, and matures on September 1st, 2023. So yeah, they're going to have some convertible debt of their own. So a little bit more dilution likely coming for Tilray as well. But again, like, I did a video on this as well. Look at that. Look. You got to make sure you're following my videos on Tilray and HEXO for sure, because those were straight fire lately. And like I said, if HEXO goes up, that's if they have like 450 million shares. Eventually, once they convert, again, Tilray doesn't own anything until they convert that equity. But if they have about 450 million shares and 48% of the company, once they actually convert, if HEXO goes up $1, that's $450 million for every $1 in share price that HEXO goes up. So they stand to make a ton of money. Tilray stands to make a ton of money to see HEXO. Imagine HEXO goes to $10 again, or $20 or $30, right? Can my calculator even go that big? I'll have to like get it super wide here. But 450 million, and we'll just say HEXO goes to $20. That'd be $9 billion that Tilray would benefit, right? Or they just do nothing and collect 20 million a year in interest. So once they see the performance of HEXO, they said they're going to contemplate whether or not they would just sit back and do nothing and collect interest, or later on convert into equity. And we'll know because Canopy just converted convertible note that debt and issued shares to pay off that debt. And we found out about it. There was a news filing and you see it in the share count. So if HEXO's shares keep going up after this, and we'll also be notified that HEXO, that Tilray exercised that and they converted the debt. And we'll see it in the share count, right? So we'll know whenever when they're cashing in or whenever they're converting into equity. So it just goes on to say the commercial agreements. Okay. 48% on a non-diluted basis. So that's pretty much it. I'll go through it, and if there's anything that I think is worth mentioning, I don't think I saw anything there. Again, I was doing a product review video, so apologies. I wasn't fully prepared. I pretty much just read that with you guys, but that was kind of cool. You can see how I kind of dissect things and how I, how my brain operates versus seeing something and getting triggered, or just automatically assuming the worst or the best, or I try to keep a even keel and level-headed. We also have OGI earnings coming up, and they've been doing really well over the last year and in the last several quarters. The revenue growth has been in a steady incline. So that is Thursday pre-market. They're expecting 33.84 million in revenue and negative 0.02 in terms of EPS. The days of unprofitable LPs are numbered. Look out, MSO maximalists. We're coming for you. Just kidding. I love MSOs too. I own MSOs, LPs. I have American MJ stocks. I have Canadian MJ stocks. I have retailers, picks and shovels, ETFs, you name it. 12 different MJ positions in my MJ portfolio. But MJ, one of my smallest portfolios. Crypto's still bigger dollar-wise, but I still own more cash right now. Net worth and most of my net worth, a little less than half after I'm buying this condo here in Edmonton, buying a second one. So, but slowly starting to deploy some cash here. Because I knew that, something like, this was going to happen in the S&P 500. Nothing goes straight up forever, right? Once we hit 4.618 extensions on an index, right, like the S&P 500, and then .com days were showing us that we could potentially be entering a same correction. And, well, that technical analysis stuff, it definitely helps, right? And that helps you, if you know that kind of pullback is coming, well, that wasn't good for MJ, right? And that's why I had so much dry powder on the side, and I was just fighting the urge to buy the dip because I didn't want to buy too soon, right? The market can stay irrational longer than we can stay solvent. And now I'm probably down to about 40% of my net worth in cash, maybe 45%. But I encourage you to check out that HEXO flavor video. And yeah, I definitely neglected the chat again. Sorry about that, guys. I just get in a roll, and I try not to lose my train of thought. But we'll jump into the chat here now. We're 33 minutes. Gonna keep this one under an hour. I promise. Maybe I'll do another short 2-minute recap video or something. Let's do this. Go HEXO. You bet. Refinancing our balance sheet and funding future growth has a top priority. Yeah, you bet. CFO said. Can you pronounce his last name? Ivansits? I don't know. Must be that. Finalizing this agreement accomplishes both objectives, placing HEXO on solid financial footing and increasing shareholder value. Yep. Oh, I just lost my place in the chat. Where are we at here? So good. Yeah, you bet. I agree. The transaction details, it sucked that they revised it and it ended up being more dilution essentially, right? But it is what it is, and the deal's done now, so it's all water under the bridge. Can put that behind us and, like I said, make way for CPG partner. Yeah, the press release seems to have a lot of solid info. Definitely. Runway is cleared, it seems, and lower is a gift. Yep, I'll definitely. I've been accumulating. I've been liking the downward action. If you look at MJ right now, like most people don't understand fundamental value and value investing, or that MJ isn't going away, right? And that price is nothing more than a construct of our imagination, right? Just because something is a low price doesn't mean that the business doesn't have any value. That's just low IQ thinking, right? Or people who don't understand markets, or who don't want to understand. You know, it's they think they understand, but they don't actually want to understand. They just want to. They were probably jaded or burned by some company in MJ, and they just want to watch it all burn to the ground because they lost money, right? Versus taking any kind of accountability or ownership. But yeah, when I see prices go down, it gets extended to the upside and it gets extended to the downside, right? It's what happens. This is how market makers manipulate it, right? They FOMO everybody in, they get everybody and their dog who would never think about investing in MJ in their entire life. They get them to buy the top because all their friends are talking about how much money they made. And then you get the stragglers coming in, they buy the top, and then they sit through a 90 to 95% correction. And then the market makers stop selling, and then they buy, and then the people who are down 95% panic sell, and then the cycle repeats, rinse, repeat, right? And there's a reason why 90% of people don't make money in the stock market, if not 99% of people in the retail space, right? So lower is definitely a gift. If you look at the prices, we haven't seen these prices in MJ sometimes ever, or it's been like since 2016. So you essentially have a teleportation device in front of you where you can transport back into in time to 2016, where these prices were on, say, like a Canopy, or I'm not telling you to go buy, sell, or hold, or do anything. This isn't financial advice, but you essentially have a time machine, and you can go back and buy prices before it was cool, right? So do you think MJ, and don't you want to make sure you're buying good companies, obviously, but like I said, I own 12 different MJ stocks. Check out my top 5 MJ holdings video if you want to learn more about that. But I did add a couple more to that as well. Any lower is definitely a gift, though. I agree. Glad to see the debt is behind us. Yeah, you don't hear too many people saying bankrupt anymore. I'm so thankful for that. Oh, man. I was just like, if I hear another person talk stupid, it's like they're not going bankrupt. I think I need some HEXO brands to celebrate. Wish I could buy some in Idaho. I love seeing people tune in from, but again, where's all the people saying they can't wait to try Tilray products? Is there somewhere just over the border too? No, you'd probably have to come over here. Yeah, I'd say you'd have to come over, but yeah, boost our tourism and give some of these LPs some money. Come visit. Finally, this is over. Yep. Pretty annoying listening to the trolls go on about bankruptcy, and it's like you obviously have no clue what you're talking about, right? Those people who just spew those kinds of they either didn't do any. Like if they just did 5 minutes worth of due diligence or research, they would realize like, oh, okay. But beyond that, if you don't want to do like, a bunch of research, I even made like a compact video on this thing called YouTube that said, is HEXO going bankrupt? And I had like 8 different possibilities before considering that. It's not like somebody told us. So it's like I have to actually go out and research that, right? And then when I compact it into a video and take, hours of my time and research and effort, and I compact it into a little short video, might be 20 minutes. You know what people say? Oh, the video's too long. Yeah, but those are the same people that will be shooting their mouth saying they're going bankrupt, right? Because they don't do any freaking research and try to understand, right? They just don't want to understand. Finally, this is over. Yeah. I agree, though. So tired of hearing about, yeah. And you probably, now it'll switch to, HEXO's only, I don't know. what are people going to say? Let me know in the comments, guys. What are people going to troll about now? Everybody's always a critic. They'll find something, right? What else are they going to freaking fixate on now? They'll probably be like, HEXO's not even going to be around. Tilray's going to swallow them up. That's probably going to be the next thing, right? Tilray's just going to take controlling interest, and HEXO's going to go away, and it's all Tilray. It's like, well, no, I'd probably wager that HEXO is going to give Tilray a good run for its money, just like Apple did whenever Microsoft saved it from bankruptcy in 1997, right? It's like, why couldn't that happen, right? Like, it very well could. It also could happen that Tilray, they even said, it's important that they remain public independent companies, but Tilray can take a controlling interest in HEXO without merging the two companies together. They don't have to merge the two public companies together. They don't have to for Tilray to own it, right? To own a controlling interest. But there's no guarantee that that even happened. Now I'm seeing 48%. It said 50%. It's almost like they're just doing this to trigger retail, right? And then like seeing, I don't know how many people said they're going to sell their shares, HEXO shares for Tilray shares. Just don't bank on it. You know, you might be all right because Tilray's down 95% too, and I think Tilray's going to do really well. But I would say if you're holding HEXO for multiple years, like I've been holding for 2 years, and I was selling into the February highs. I sold a little bit. I was all out by like $9, and then I started to rebuy around 5, like 7, 6, 5, and I went pretty heavy at 5, and then I just been dollar cost averaging from there. But I didn't invest any more than I was willing to lose, so I was able to just keep buying the dip. But I would just say if you've been holding HEXO for this long, why the hell would you not own at least some, right? Like that, again, not financial advice, but that's my thinking. Like, why would I get rid of it now when I waited all this time? And it's not like it's the only one down a tremendous amount. Like, what's Tilray's excuse for being down 95%, right? It's called market conditions. It starts, skip ad. Yeah, YouTube, I've noticed there's been a lot more ads on YouTube lately. And I didn't change anything. That's just kind of how it goes, but this is the most exciting going on in MJ sector right now. Yep, pretty much. It's pretty fun to watch, actually. Just wait. You think you've seen a lot now? It's like, man, we're coming down the. We were going downhill. Now we were going uphill. Now we're just going to be going downhill, and it's going to be smooth sailing. We're going to see probably the Canadian government relax some laws and regulations and things like that with regards to order limitations and grams per order. We're probably going to see drink limits increased, or the laws changes on that, and we're probably going to see it available in events and restaurants and all these different beverages, MJ infused beverages, right? Let's make this live stream go 24 hours and party up. I'm grabbing a beer. You bet. I wish I had a Molo Lime right now. Actually, I did a product review of the new HEXO flavored vapes, and I won some Lemon Z. So I just take this thing back. It was like a scratch card I bought at Cabana. And apparently it said, "Life will soon give you Lemon Z." So lemons. It's funny. But yeah, looking forward to go collect that. So whenever I go do that, maybe I'll grab some Molo Limes and I'll cheers you on Instagram later. But yeah, if anybody just comes across any trolls, or can you do me a favor? Can you, like, it's so hard to deal with all the trolls out there, like by myself. I'm doing my best, but if you can just send them this video, or like write up a little blurb, or like, maybe just correct them, because the stigma out there, it's kind of like XRP in the crypto space, right? It's just like everybody thinks that XRP is the banker's coin, but it's like, okay, well, JP Morgan invested in Ethereum before they even had the ICO, before the public could even buy it. And pretty much every bank and country is now adopting Bitcoin. Does that not mean that, and like, people are just weird. People are weird. So yeah, send them this video if you ever come across a troll, and just say, hey, don't read the thumbnail. Actually read the video. And if they don't care to watch the video, then they really don't want to understand. So if they're not willing to understand, I just don't even bother talking to them anymore, because it's not worth my time. But I try to my best to help everybody understand, because it isn't easy, and I do want to help people because I know most people probably just lost money, right? And they're butthurt because they're like, oh, MJ's the worst, right? Why didn't I invest in Netflix? Oh, that went down 80% in 6 months. I guess nothing's safe. It's like, it's the stock market. It's very, very difficult and risky. And if you're not experienced and you're buying an everything bubble peak of 2022, it's like, man. I have buy another 800 share now at 8585. Average of 155 CAD. So, okay. 8,000 shares. 8,545. Yeah. 8,500 shares at 155 average. Gotcha. Yeah, that's a pretty good average. I think mine's around that too. I think I'd have to run the numbers again. I got some in Canadian dollars, got some in US dollars. I got a long-term no-touch HEXO portfolio, and then I've got the and then I've got a shorter-term portfolio. So one portfolio with HEXO in it, I'm not touching, and the rest of my MJ long-term no-touch, not touching those until US legalizes, and we see the hype running into that. And then the short-term account, when we get to, like, say, $5 or so on HEXO, I'll probably take out my initial investment or something. And then when we get to $10, that would be my second TP, right? So take profit. And then $15, right? So 5, 10, 15, 20. And I'm not selling the long-term no touch until the US legalizes. Because the hype from that, people are going to be like, I never thought these MJ stocks would even drop that low. Like, remember how low MJ stocks were? And then I guarantee you, people just will not believe the prices that these MJ stocks are going to go to, both American and Canadian companies. It's going to be winners and losers, both sides of the border. And believe you me, 3-4 figures is very realistic. Now, will affect the stock tomorrow, and when's the split? It didn't really move after hours. It's pretty much baked in at this point. Like, I think everybody kind of, I don't know if it's going to really move the stock a whole lot, to be honest, because we knew about it for so long, and then the deal got delayed. It was supposed to close in May. Now it closed in July, and it got amended. So, yeah, I wouldn't expect a whole lot. What I would expect is CPG partner, now that the news should come out soon, now that Kellogs and Tilray are positioned, right? Because the market is manipulated, right? So now that they manipulated it and then they got themselves positioned, now they're going to let it run. And like I said, for every dollar that HEXO goes up, Tilray is essentially going to have like $400 million in the bank for every like worth of equity, right? If they convert it. If not, they'll collect $20 million a year in interest. But no, I don't think it'll move it a whole lot, so I wouldn't hold your breath too much. But like I said, it does increase the odds that we could see the CPG partner soon. And the S&P 500 is also searching for a bottom and could be near a temporary bottom here as well. So that could do well for MJ and HEXO specifically with regards to the CPG news. And then if we see safe banking into the fall, and then Chuck Schumer's bill due to drop second week of August, it's looking good. It's looking real good. But I just did a video. I can't keep going through the same thing all the time, or these videos get way too long. That's why I do specific videos. Just go to this video right here. HEXO, reverse split looming, or NASDAQ. If you want to know, I think they're going to get an extension. I don't think they could do a reverse split, but if you want to know if they're getting an extension or doing a reverse split when that is, check out that video. It's only 8 minutes. But again, I can't keep answering the same questions if I already have a video for it, because it just goes way too long. And yeah, I encourage you to subscribe and tick the bell, because I do videos on this all the time, and I've probably already talked about it at least 3 times now. But if you're a new subscriber, that's cool too. Thanks for subscribing. And yeah, if you just found my channel, like I said, you make sure you want to subscribe, because that's pretty much all I do is Tilray and HEXO videos. I do a lot of different MJ videos, but we focus more on primarily MJ, and then secondary on cryptocurrency on this channel. That's what I specialize in. What people's average, if you want to say it? Yeah, I think mine's around the same. I think it's like 155 Canadian. 150. I might have got it under 150. Like I said, I got it in a couple accounts, so I'd have to check. Well, somebody must have said something bad. Message retracted. Charlie from Yahoo left my... Praying for CPG news. Yep, it does increase the odds, that's for sure. Could see it soon. It would be great, you bet. I have 50-cent calls for next year. Nice. Yeah, I bought some calls last year thinking I was going to do well, and yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big options guy, but I just feel like right now the prices are so low, you know, down 98, 95% pretty much across the board. It'd just be silly not to have some common shares. But if you got a multiple strategy, I would encourage that. Hello, everyone. You bet. Hello, welcome to live stream, Patrick. How much of the debt did HEXO already use? How much did they already use? I don't have the exact figure, but they've got, what was it, 177 million left? So 173.7 million of the amended note. So the 100% of the remaining outstanding principal balance. So they issued, the convertible note was what for, now you're testing my memory here. It was 400 million in cash, right? So HEXO, Redican, convertible note. Let's see here if it says, give me 1 second here. No, I'm gonna skip that because yeah, I gotta keep these streams a little shorter. People always complain about something, right? And if I do the videos too long, it's, oh, that's too long, I didn't watch it. It's probably already too long for people, that most people aren't gonna watch it, but and then I end up repeating myself all the time. So I don't have the exact figure, but yeah, they probably like half, I would think. I think it ends up being about half, because they've been issuing shares like crazy, right? That monthly redemption feature, like I said, and that's what is much more favorable about these terms with the Tilray deal is they're not paying that every single month, right? And it's not diluting the company, but in terms of the debt, they issued 525 million in common stock to, so yeah, it must have been 400 million in a convertible note. So if there's 177, they would have used 400 minute, around 223 million that they used. So again, the convertible debt is later on converted into shares, right? So either they do the monthly redemption feature, but there was a stipulation there that they couldn't own over like 9.99% of the company. So they ended up having to pay them in like a default thing, or like an added, they had to pay them in cash. And then they did the at the market program, the offering and things like that. Again, I do videos on these a lot. If you're just tuning into the channel, or if you're just new to the channel, I encourage you to go back and watch those videos, because this is all stuff that we've been covering for like 2 years on this channel. And yeah, but I'm just trying to think what else I can say to before we move on from that. Yeah, the debt, they're still going to be paying 20 million a year in interest, and it's been extended out to the maturity date of 2026, right? So should be good there. Beats 50. Beats 50. Not sure what you mean by that, but I sold my children for some HEXO shares. I think I am below $1 of my $6 average. Wow, yeah, that's good. I think I'm below $1 from a $6 average. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, that's great to be back under $1. Good time to buy. Yeah, I mean, again, not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold, but I'm definitely buying. And I think it's a great time to buy personally. If Tilray converts, what is that going to do to the share price? Will it go up or down? It'll go down because it's going to issue shares. So it's going to create more dilution. So therefore, existing shareholders will have less, right? There'll be more shares. So the piece of the pie is going to get smaller, right? Also, if Tilray converts, is HEXO going to go up like 1 billion shares? Well, the share count would be around 450 million. I think it was. So it'd go up to about 450 million. So yeah, if they have, excuse me, just take a look here now. HEXO's current, let's just take a look here. My dog's howling in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear him, but knock it off. He hears ambulances and he just turns into a mini ambulance. It's kind of funny. Shares outstanding, 500 million right now. So there's currently 500 million shares outstanding. So yeah, it'd be just under 1 billion shares. I'll share my screen here. So shares outstanding, 500 million. And so yeah, it'd be somewhere around that. Again, I don't have like all the math broken down right here, but it'd be probably just under 1 billion. But I mean, nothing new for the MJ space. SNDL's got 2.39 billion shares, and they're gonna do another reverse split as well. So they're actually seeking see, that's the difference. HEXO hasn't even got HEXO has already got approval from the shareholders to do a 14-for-1 reverse split. But Sundials has a meeting coming up. I did a video on this as well. You can check that out. Sundial reverse split this month, meeting on July 21st. They're seeking 10 to 1 or 25 to 1, up to 25. So if you think 14 with HEXO is bad, Sundial might be doing a 25 to 1 reverse split. And yeah, that's the landscape at the moment. But yeah, 2.39 billion. How much does Canopy Growth have? 403 million at the moment. Tilray have. I never even looked at their share count in a long time. 480 million. And then HEXO might do a reverse split. But again, if you want to see what my thoughts are on that, go check out the reverse split video dedicated specifically for that topic. Why would Tilray convert shares if it hurts them? Exactly. That's why I've been saying too that it's likely going to be a while before they convert, and they've already told us that. I've already covered this on the channel multiple times as well. But again, go watch that BNN Bloomberg video with Irwin. Like, hear it right from the CEO of Tilray. Right? Why would Tilray convert? Well, maybe listen to the CEO of Tilray. Right? He'll tell you why. And he says that they said they're in a good position to either do nothing, collect 20 million a year in interest, and just wait, and then later on, once they are confident that HEXO is going to rebound, then they might look at converting and putting, because they don't want to risk, if they convert it into equity and then HEXO plummets, right? You got to think about it, and they have shareholders to adhere to, right? Like they can't just go willy-nilly spending $150 million or $177 million or whatever it was. Like they've got very concerned investors, and yeah, like it's in everybody's interest. Now, Chaos Capital, Redican, all the Montours, you've got, Molson Coors doesn't want to see HEXO go belly up either because they're their partner. Tilray now partnered with HEXO. You've got Redican, Cannabis, 48 North, like all that stuff, right? So yeah, it's in everybody's interest for HEXO to go up. And like I said, for every $1 that HEXO goes up, Tilray is essentially going to make about $400 million worth of share appreciation, right? I guess Constellation Brands did it to CGC, so it hurt their investment. Yeah, and the difference is with Constellation's Brands is they actually like purchased a stake in the company, right? Whereas Tilray is purchasing a convertible note, which they don't own any stake in the company until they convert the debt. Right now, they're in just a good position to do absolutely nothing and collect $20 million a year in interest. Plus, they get to save, or they get that advisory fee of $1.5 million, so consulting fees and stuff. And then they also get $80 million in synergy savings. Right. So again, there's a lot more going on than what meets the troll's eye. Oh, mercy on their souls. Those poor trolls. But yeah, I'm really loving the fact that people are starting to use a lot of rational, logical, like this is why I love coming on here and doing these, because people get to see like, oh, look, this is how, like we come to logical conclusions, right? Again, I don't always have the answers, but if we can all come to a logical conclusion, and then you know what a good gauge for me is, I ask 10 retail investors something, and when nine people out of 10 tell me something that's the same, I usually think of the opposite, and 90% of the time it's usually the opposite of what the herd thinks, right? So if everybody says HEXO is going bankrupt, if I ask 10 people if HEXO is going bankrupt, like people that are just retail investors that I don't really know or whatever, 9 people out of 10 would have said yes. So I'd have said, okay, good chance they're not, right? Because retail's always wrong. If not, everybody would be rich driving Lambos. Just the way it would be, right? But that's not the case. I don't see retail investors, every single one of them, 90% of them, driving Lambos. So, yeah, I don't listen to... I do my own research, and you shouldn't listen to me either. Take what I say. If you like if you don't like what I say, challenge me. I dare you. Like, I want you to. I want you to try to persuade me and think if what I'm thinking is incorrect, or you have a better solution or a better way of looking at it, or a different perspective that can sway me and make me think, oh, maybe this might not be exactly what I thought it was. Well, I encourage that. That's called thoughtful discourse. That's called wanting to be a better person and grow, right? And actually wanting to understand versus not wanting to understand, right? There's people that go on the internet and they're keyboard warriors. They don't want to understand. You could send them a big, long message, which I do. I usually just copy and paste. We've got one for like every topic. And they don't even read it, right? They just reply with like, bankrupt. It's like, oh my God, you 6-year-old. Are you even old enough to buy stocks? And the weird thing is sometimes it's like grown ass men and women, and I'm like I just turned 32, right? And I'm just like, man, some egos and stuff like that get in the way, right? I hope they don't convert, but just curious to what would happen for HEXO's price and share count if they did. Yeah, so it'd probably go down, right? Because share count's going up, meaning less piece of the pie, meaning price would go down, right? But if we have enough macro factors and sector reversal, things like that, safe banking, New York legalizing, Germany legalizing, guys, we need to think bigger picture here. We're better than that. We're in like little league right now. We need to think like on a global scale. What's going to happen when all these Fortune 200, 500 companies and CPG companies are getting into it, like Coca-Cola and Pepsi? And I know I just triggered somebody. Oh, he said Coca-Cola. It's like, yeah, they will be getting into it. Believe me, they're into alcohol drinks now with Molson Coors. Guess who works with Molson Coors? HEXO. So who has probably the best chance out of anybody landing a deal with Coke? Probably Tilray and HEXO, right? It's like, look up Simply Spiked Lemonade and Topo Chico Seltzer. Those are 2 Coca-Cola products made in collaboration with Molson Coors. Guess who has 2 collaborations with Molson Coors? HEXO. Right? Might it be very possible that in the future, maybe not, I don't think that's the CPG partner now. I think it's Kellogg's. It's in edibles, so we can forget about Coke. They already told us it wasn't in beverage like a year ago. So again, that's why we've known this for a year. They said it was edibles, food products, functional foods. And then just recently they said it was more than cookies, granola bars, it's other food products. And then people are like, oh, it's not beverages. And you're like, they said it wasn't beverages. What more do you need than of proof that it's not beverages when the CEO is saying it's not beverages? And then people are like, it must be Coke, it must be beverages. But again, they don't watch, they don't want to understand. Gonna make a trip to Vancouver, HEXO products there. Oh yeah. I just got back from visiting my buddy in Vancouver. Actually, I bought a bunch of stuff there. Yeah, there's lots. HEXO is giving me PTSD. Well, you either invested more than you're willing to lose, you haven't been through a 90% correction in a bear market before. What else could it be? You're new to investing, maybe. You're new to, this whole thing, right? So that's normal. Don't worry about it, right? If you're new to investing, if you're a new investor or trader, whatever your mindset, whatever your goal is, don't worry about it. We all start somewhere. You got to start with training wheels, and then you work your way up to being a big boy or girl, right? You'll make a lot of mistakes, you'll fall, you get back up, and you keep going, right? But that's something too, is not investing any more than you're willing to lose, right? So if you start with a 3 or 4 figure portfolio and work your way up, if you make a mistake or if you go through a 90% correction or something like that, you're better equipped, right? And then that's why shorting the S&P 500, keeping cash on the side, hedging with a short position on the S&P 500 like I've been doing, owning multiple other MJ stocks, not just HEXO, owning ETFs, retailers, some crypto, some tech stocks, some, real estate, mutual funds, all these other things that you can do to diversify, right? I'm pretty sure people have PTSD from any stock imaginable, whether it be financial stocks, MJ stocks, cryptos, tech stocks, right? Amazon dropped 95% back in 2001. I bet you a lot of people had PTSD after that too. And they were selling legal products, and we're selling illegal products that are still federally illegal in the U.S. So Amazon was just wide open for business into the U.S. selling legal products. Oh, what do you know? We're struggling a little bit more because we're selling illegal drugs. There's so much growth, guys. Like, just again, let's jump out of little league and jump into the big league here, and just realize the potential that, look past the price. Just price does not mean the company's value, right? There's called a intrinsic value for a reason, and book value, right? Which has to do with, assets and liabilities and debt and all that stuff, right? You can even do like price to earnings. You can even do all these other types of multiples, and I'm not big into fundamentals. All I know is pretty much every company that I've really been like researching and dedicating a ton of time to and due diligence and research, every single one of them has exploded. Tesla was one of them. Everybody said Tesla was going bankrupt, and they actually almost did. And then the SEC sued them and basically blackmailed them, said they were going to go, Securities Exchange Commission said that they were going to make them go bankrupt if they didn't basically give in to all their demands. Tesla, everybody and their dog, whenever a couple years ago, 3 years ago, whenever I was talking about it, at $200 before the split, nobody wanted it. And they're like, oh, Tesla makes less cars in a year than Toyota makes in a month. And then all the financial reporters and analysts were saying that they don't make any money, they're going bankrupt, right? And then Tesla goes off in the biggest run of a lifetime. I looked at Riot and Bitcoin, all these cryptos, and like any project that I've really, and like XRPs, or that one right there, that's one that hasn't really taken off. But mark my words, this freaking thing's going to like melt faces here pretty soon. Well, so is this, but so's Tilray. Yeah, I'm excited for the future. But again, if you got some of this. You don't have to worry about, or if you got more than just this and this, right, in that sector, if you got more than just one MJ stock, right, that's really going to help you too. Help with PTSD. So, but yeah, man, I mean, if you're feeling, if you're not able to sleep at night or you're getting PTSD, you probably went a little too heavy, or maybe you went too heavy too soon, right? Maybe you didn't use the dollar cost averaging. There's so many different ways, right? But we have to take accountability and find out why you're feeling PTSD. The only reason why you're feeling PTSD is because you hit the buy button, right? Or that you hit the sell button. And nobody else does that but you, right? Unless you have a financial advisor, old school still, but you're telling them what to do. So at the end of the day, we have to take accountability and ownership. And I've made every mistake under the book, but that's kind of the idea of this channel, is to help people. I've lived through multiple 90% corrections and bear markets, and that's the idea of the channel, is to help you guys see the bigger picture and also not make you're going to make mistakes, but hopefully you don't make as many mistakes as I did, or as many mistakes as you normally would without the help of, say, a POW group, right? Great news, but why not reacting in after hours? Again, it's pretty much baked into the, like, we've known about this for months. The deal was supposed to close in May, and then it got delayed. Then it closed in July. So now people have been waiting an extra 2 months. Plus the deal got amended to less favorable terms for HEXO. So yeah, no, I would say Tilray price might go up more than HEXO's in the short term, because HEXO's gonna, like, we already seen it coming, right? But with Tilray's really going to benefit off that new amendment. So it might even be Tilray that goes up a little bit more. Let's just take a look. After hours. TLRY. We're up 1 penny. After hours. We're rich. Yep, not a penny of movement on HEXO, but 1 penny on HEXO is a big deal at these levels. But yeah, I wouldn't expect too much movement, actually, because like I said, we've known about it for months, and it was supposed to close in May. And what was up with that 150%? What was up with that 150% pre-market, but for nothing a week ago? I did a video on that too. And I even did a long version and a short version for people just like you who didn't watch it. Just kidding. If you might have even just tuned into my channel, right? I'm just yanking your chain. But yeah, I did a live stream here. It was 1 hour and 32 minutes. Totally understand if you don't want to watch it. I won't be offended. That's why I made a 2-minute and 53-minute one for you. But yeah, I'll tell you why I think... in those videos, why I think that happened. Yeah, so HEXO 106 pre-market. Why did HEXO stock go up? I think it was actually more than 106%. It was just the company that reported the thing. I think Rod is hot. No, not really. These definitely work pretty good though. I'm a seasoned vet, right? So I was like. Not really. Doesn't really affect me anymore, to be honest. Like it used to, right? But like now, I'm 32, so it's like almost 20 years, right? Like 15 years of medicating. So I really don't feel like most people would, right? Like not like I used to, right? Like used to just be like, whoa, like paranoid and whatever else kind of feelings you get. Had me staring at the wall for 3 hours. Just kidding. That chaos agreement is only such as HEXO only demand liquidity, not a loan, correct? That chaos agreement demand liquidity, not a loan. Yeah, I believe so. They don't even really mention it in this one because it's already approved. But yeah, I'm going to try to keep this video a little shorter, but we could bring it up and we could go through it. But like I said, I wanted to keep it under an hour, and we're already at 1 hour and 13 minutes here. So maybe we'll save that one for next time. But yeah, it's there if needed, but it's not like, they shouldn't. I don't think they really will need it, at least not initially. But it's really all going to depend on when friggers is something going to happen in Congress. When are they going to do something safe banking? When are they going to get some legalization progress? When are we going to see the broader market bottom out? When are we going to see the whole MJ sector bottom out and enter a new bull market? Like I said, Germany's set to legalize soon, and then New York coming online as well. So I think next bull market's going to be insane. Like we're going to see the biggest bull market yet. Too many people invest all their cash in one stock. It's so true. It really is. That's why they get pissed off when market drops. Oh yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, if they had, and that's why, like, yeah, it doesn't matter what MJ stock you pick right now. There's tons of retail investors just hating on it, right? And that are pissed, right? And that's because they put all their money into one, and They got tunnel vision. They don't realize that, oh, if I had 4 other MJ stocks, they'd all be down 80 to 90%, not just the one I picked. And then, emotions go down. It's like, oh, okay. And then again, MJ was in a bear market. Why would you put majority of your cash in a market that is in a bear market, right? You want to, like when tech stocks were going up last year, right? MJ was going down. So you want to be investing in a bear market. You can invest in a bear market, which I did, and I was dollar cost averaging, but I certainly wasn't putting in all my cash and investment capital, right? MJ was my smallest position. It still is, right? It's growing, but my next biggest position is crypto and then real estate and cash. I still have more cash than any of that stuff, right? So I'm okay with the drops, right? I actually welcome the drops because I know I just built a time machine essentially, and I'm now in 2016 and I can buy prices that were not seen since 2016. So again, you can look at it from 2 different perspectives. And I mean, to be honest, maybe that's what they needed to go through to learn, right? Because I tell people this all the time, but they don't listen. So if this is what it takes for people to learn, I would say 9 out of 10 people are going to just quit and not actually learn from it, because that's basically the moral of this. That's basically the long and short of it in the stock market is, 90%, if not more, people fail at it. And once they fail a couple times and lose a little bit of money, they're out, right? And it's just like anything in life. You have to get knocked down, get back up, learn, make mistakes. So, maybe it's a good thing they put all their cash into one stock and now they learn the hard way. I learned long ago you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. If they convert 48% versus 50 is what I meant. Oh, your question was so long ago. Beats 50. Oh, yeah. Okay. I know what you're saying. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. 48 beats 50. I'm not going to argue with that. What do you think about upcoming Tilray earnings? Never really even thought about it, to be honest, but we can go check it out. OGI is coming up here on Thursday. It's not looking good. I think Tilray's kind of been dropping in terms of sales, but actually if we go here on the POW Group page, go to Community tab and scroll down. Actually in sales, they bumped up, I think. And then Organigram was right next to them. So Organigrams could be pretty good. We'll see here this week. And then Tilray, in terms of Toronto Stock Exchange, earnings expectations are 194.73 million. Ugh. Oh, look at this, negative 0.0944 on the EPS. I thought that said negative 0.01 last time. But yeah, they had that huge beat, 0.11, right? I remember that. So from an operational standpoint, they were actually positive. If you take they actually had if you divide their profit by the amount of shares, they actually came out with positive EPS, so earnings per share. But yeah, they're still forecasting negative 0.0944, but it was positive last time and a huge beat, like massive beat. But they're still expecting a slight decline in revenue. I usually use investing.com for, sorry, I didn't realize I was sharing my screen there. But yeah, I usually use investing.com, and 194 million. They're expecting a slight decline from last quarter, and we'll see. I don't have enough data to go off of right now based on this alone. It looks like 31 million. They're number 2. They were losing a little bit of market share. I wouldn't expect a huge. To be honest, I don't think Tilray's really launched like any new products or anything like that. I haven't seen it. Actually, no, they had the Soleil bites in the SQDC, right? So that's something that we'll keep an eye out for. I haven't even heard anybody talking about them. I haven't even seen one person mention anything about it. And I'm not in Quebec, but if anybody's listening to me, if you had tried those new Soleil bites on the SQDC, it's the first edible in Quebec. So I thought it would be a pretty big deal, but apparently not. But if anybody's listening to this, let me know if you tried that product. But I would probably expect it to come around somewhere around there, around the 190, maybe low 190s. We have been missing every quarter for the last 3 quarters. So it's not looking great. Actually, it's been, sure what happened. This one here, it doesn't have the numbers, but yeah, we've been in a straight decline. So until we break the previous quarter, we're just going to basically expect to continue revenue slide because until this pattern breaks, right, we'll just keep expecting more of the same. So I don't know, maybe it comes in around 190 based on everything I've seen. I would say probably somewhere around 190, 192. All right, I think we're pretty much near the end. Will HEXO get delisted from the stock market because it's been under $1 for so long? Well, do I have the video for you? I created this HEXO reverse split delisting NASDAQ video, and it's only 8 minutes. It sounds like that'd be right up your alley, and it'll answer every single thing you could possibly imagine in regards to that question. Again, I'm just trying to keep videos. If I already have a video for something, I can't keep answering the same questions because I have a life, and also people get angry when the videos go so long. Glad I could get the live stream. You bet. Welcome. Yeah, just check out that video. Like I said, it was a complete video on my thoughts and opinions on the delisting or reverse split or extension. Tilray needs German legalization. The only way the stock can move up. Yep, pretty much. Or safe banking or Chuck Schumer's bill dropping in August. Second week of August. Any of those. Even if HEXO announces a CPG partner now, that's good for Tilray too. So that'll be something to watch out for. Tilray might even sign its own CPG partner because now it's got the deal with... Yeah, that makes so much sense too. Now it's like Tilray executives and HEXO executives are going to be like in the boardroom with Coke together being like, hey, partner with us because we're now working together. It's Team Tilray, Afria, HEXO, Redecan, Cannabis, 48 North. We're in alcohol, we're in distribution, we're in MJ, we're in every single category. They're in topicals and, like they can literally knock off every single CPG. So that's great that the both of them will be lobbying all of these Fortune 500, 200 big corporations, right? So I think there's a lot more that can move it, but Germany legalizing definitely going to help, that's for sure. Great video, Rod. Good luck on the HEXO investment community. Hopefully greener days ahead. You bet. And same to Tilray holders as well. Hey, Rod, I tried the edibles. Nothing too special. Yeah, I didn't think so. They didn't look too good. Not gonna lie. I was like, ooh, those kind of look gross. Not gross. I'm sure they're not gross, but I was like, nah. Like that's the feeling I got when I looked at it. I was like, nah. Right? I'm not gonna bring it up. I might flag my video. Kind of like an organic energy bar or something. Yeah, that's what it looked like. Tasted good, but not that exciting. Yeah, exactly what I was just saying. Not too strong if you smoke regularly. Yeah, the way I like the edibles and stuff, like I need too much of it to feel anything. And that's why I kind of like the Redecan Redibles because you can eat like a few packs without being like, oh, my stomach, right? But if you ate a bunch of those Soleil bites or some of like, big chocolate bar with 10 milligrams, like I'd need to eat 5 to feel anything, like even remotely feel anything. I'm not going to, gobble down 5 chocolate bars. So that's why I really like the drinks, right? Those are fantastic. And then the Redibles, the Redecan Redibles, they're a little smaller, so you can eat probably I could probably dummy 5 or 6 of those packs of those. There's 4 in a pack. Easily eat 4 or 5 packs of those, no problem, and not feel like crap. And there's not that much sugar in them. But yeah, that's something too. Is I smoke regularly as well, but I'm on these vapes now. Like I said, I got the new HEXO flavor vapes. I just did a product review video before I came on and did this video, so you can check that out. But really, really good, those vapes as well. And, you know, yeah, going from like a concentrate right back to an edible. It's kind of a different experience, though, like the actual buzz and everything when you do edibles. And the drinks are fantastic. It's like 15, 30 minutes. Everybody's different. It can take up to 2 hours. And that's why, you get the trolls being like, oh, I ate the edibles and I didn't feel anything for 1 to 2 hours. Well, they specifically say it can take 30 minutes to 2 hours. So that's exactly what they told you, right? But yeah, it's way different. It's like a completely different, it's like a body thing, right? Versus the head thing. And, yeah, I think they just complement each other, right? Grab yourself a pack of the Reddies Plus with the THC distillate and a few edibles and smoke one of those Reddies Plus, the 25%. And, yeah, your couple Molo Lime and an XMG and a Soleil Bite, and you're good to go. But, yeah, thanks for letting us know that you're the first person that said they tried that one. But yeah, that was exactly what I thought too. When I saw it, I was kind of like, cool, but not that exciting. That's exactly how I would sum it up. Yeah. All right, awesome. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth, everybody. It was a great live stream, and I know it's a little bit longer, so maybe I'll do a quick video at some point soon as well, and kind of recap this in very, very short amount of time, try to anyway. But going to end it there. Thanks again for joining us, and if you could smash the like on your way out, I would appreciate it. Help support me in the channel. You can subscribe, tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future videos, and better, greener days ahead. Looks like we can finally put the bankruptcy trolls to bed, and yeah, if we do see, it'll be kind of funny to see the comments on or the response to some of the trolls who say bankruptcy now, because there's probably going to be one. But it'll be funny to see what the community has to say about that. All right, going to end it there. Hope you have a great night. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. We'll see you in the next video.